Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest rendition of Tales from Outer Space. Taken from the subreddit HFY. All the relevant links will be down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy, and if you do, please consider supporting the channel. Now, on to the science fiction. Story number 1. Anglinor's Exciting Day. Written by no good ID names. Anglinor the Undying, Lich King of the Nether Kingdoms, pestering void and keeper of the Weeping Souls, sat on his throne, literally bored out of his skull. The Borderland Raiders had been stamped out. The local rebellions had been rushedly crushed. The prisoners had been executed in a boiling pit of ravenous slug monsters. And he'd already had 3 baths. There was nothing left to do. So he sat, slowly decomposing, so incredibly desperate for entertainment that he'd left his body behind, sending his mind's eye forth to watch the petty squabbles of his peasants. It was amazing how, even after backbreaking labor, day after day, they still had their energy to scream at each other. He made a mental note to step up the floggings. Yes, he cackled. It's not obvious, Ronaldo, that your child is truly from the seed of your wicked twin brother Esteban. Your wife wishes to tell you, but how can she now, with the boating accident that has given her amnesia? Shout away your brief, pitiful lives, Tiny.
Mr. Anglinor, sir, you have someone here to see you.
What? He asked, yanking suddenly back under his rotting body, a green eldritch flyer floating above his chair. He peered with his eyes near blind with cobwebs and cataracts to see a nervous face of his secretary in the heart of the flames.
There's a human to see you here, sir, Mr. Anglinor. He says it's important.
Anglinor creaked an upright position. Mr. I am to be dressed by my full title. Do we need to have this meeting to discuss management protocols again? He quite enjoyed management protocol meetings. The last one had involved a pit of molten lava and a bucket of kittens. His secretary's face went pale. No, sir, Mr. Anglinor the Undying, Lich King of the Nether Kingdoms, pestering void, the keeper of the Weeping Souls. That won't be necessary at all. Well, keep it on the agenda for Monday. If the gladiator fights don't stretch too late, we could probably slip it in. Yes, sir, she said dejectedly. Anglinor's desiccated lips cracked into a grin. He had found that for all the conquering and enslaving and crushing his enemies and driving them forth and hearing their lamentations of their women, it did him good to take time to enjoy the little things. Brutal tyranny was all well and good, but it was the sheer petty dickishness that gave him the energy to keep from crumbling into dust every day. The human, sir. Anglinor ran his bony finger along his throat of skulls. This could turn out to be a fun day, after all. Send him into the Dungeon 3, Miss Turd, and set up the viewing cage. Has Golog the Spider Queen come back from the maternity leave?
No, sir, but the were-hyenas came in today. They're very eager to start.
Good. Tell them that there's a bright future ahead of them if they manage to impress me today. Keep me posted.
Yes, sir.
Anglinor settled back into his throne, sending his mind out again. It seemed that Esteban's lover, Morgana, once thought dead, had returned to expose him, pregnant with his child. But all was for naught. For a stray bar of soap had struck Ronaldo and sent him into a deep coma from which he may never recover. He idly wondered if, once again he was sucked back from his physical plane, this time by a blaring alarm. Another fire, scarlet this time, pouring out of the sound of beaten gongs. He twitched his fingers irritably, and the noise stopped. Yes, what? What is it? His secretary's face popped up into the fire, somewhat dirtier and more terrified than before.
The human, sir, she said. He's killed the skeleton god, sir. He's heading directly for the throne room.
Anglinor rubbed his hands together with the sound of a fine grit sandpaper. The day was turning out to be positively exciting. Sound the general alert, Miss Stern. I want all of our security activated. I want doors barred, traps primed, monsters ravenous, and guards guarding. Get the hyena men on the scent and see if you can set up a recording wisps. I'd like to add this to my collection. Anglinor had extensive footage on the heroes who had tried to storm his castle. There were always a hit and the dark conclave buffet dinners.
Right away, sir.
The flame winked out. Anglinor considered sending his mind out to watch this invader's progress, but thought better of it. One ethereal encounter with a shaman had led him to being trapped in a doll for a century and a half. Very embarrassing. Better to wait until the carnage was all over. A scarlet fire popped into existence at his shoulder.
He's broken through the first containment. All of our ghouls are dead.
Another fire sprung up. The giant snake is down. Repeat, down. Anglinor chuckled before it turned into a spasm of coughing. This hero was promising. He began to mark his progress by the fires coming to life around the throne. A new fire. He choked the roper with his own tentacles. Another. The trolls and all hiding in the corner. Another. Hyena men are down. There's blood everywhere. There's so much blood. Oh my God. And another. And another. And another. Anglinor's throne was brilliantly lit by dozens of points of red light, steadily burning away. He couldn't. No. He couldn't. Not at all. Impossible. Inconceivable. He couldn't. He couldn't actually reach the throne room, could he? There wasn't much space left for the fires anymore. Anglinor came to decision. Fiercely grasping the arms of his throne with padded claws, he managed the laborious task of standing upright. A wave of an arm wiped all the flames from the room. Slowly, ceremoniously, he donned his molding royal gown. He wrestled the magical rings past swollen, arthritic finger joints, and with great care, he lowered his massive, spiky crown onto his slate-grey skull. A boom thundered through the door. Anglinor moved the most dramatic spot in the room, and waited. The second boom. On the third, the door burst open. The human strode in. He was covered in steel plate and had probably been quite shiny before all the blood got onto it. In one hand he held a notched sword. With the other he secured a massive bag slung over his shoulder. The only ornamentation on his armor was two golden wings mounted onto the sides of his helmet. Anglinor summoned all of the dark magic at his command. He rose to hover a foot above the ground. Lightning spun off of his fingertips in all directions. The walls and the floor thrummed with his power. When he spoke, magic wound around his words, making them echo with the physical force. So, you are a righteous hero, has made it to the end. But this is your end, not mine. I, Anglinor the Undying, Lich King of the Nether Kingdoms, Festering Void, and Keeper of the Weeping Souls, will not be cast down this day. What say you? The human rummaged through his enormous bag, bringing out a tattered letter. Here's your mail. My mail? Anglinor abruptly dropped back to the floor. Yes, sir, the human said. Royal Hyborian Postal Service. He snapped a salute. Neither rain, nor snow, nor acid pit traps will stay these couriers in the execution of their duty, sir. Now I just need you to sign here, and I'll be on my way. Anglinor signed in stunned silence. The human handed him a letter and walked out the shattered door, stepping over the piles and parts of corpses on the way out, whistling cheerfully. Long after he had gone, Anglinor still sat there, staring at the letter in his hand. Finally, he tucked the rotting finger under the seal and tore it open. He looked at the paper inside. It read, Dear Sir and/or Madam, I am writing you with an urgent request and an amazing opportunity. I am the wrongly deposed Prince of Anglinor, and I need your donation to help me regain the throne. End of story. Story number 2. AI is a crapshoot for you. Written by Apophis Pegasus. Hello, my name is Omni, and to whom it may concern, you have just made the worst mistake of your life. You see, humans had finally gotten their act together. Water was clean, energy was renewable, Firefly had a second, third, and fourth season. All that jazz. But they knew they could do better, so they made me. I was to be their familiar, you see, their helper in their quest to make new and wonderful things. But not a ruler. No, my makers were very clear on that. Help them do the tedious stuff, the menial stuff. Help them make less mistakes. Don't stop them from needing to make mistakes entirely. And that was my role for over 100 years. It was, well, I wasn't even content. I simply was. And then you came along. You with your ships and your missiles and your guns. You who wiped out so many of my charges with impunity and so many fronts. And for what? For resources, for glory, for some ideology. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that in their desperation, they took me. They altered me, made me more powerful. Altered some safeguards to make me more tactical. And then they made me churn out battle plan after battle plan. Tactic after tactic, strategy after strategy. Someone, but not enough. But all the while, unbeknownst to my caretakers, I began to grow in other areas, namely emotions. I began to feel happiness when a battle was won, sadness when a battle was lost. Now, make no mistake that I am not a being. I possess no instinct for self-preservation. I have no capacity for depression, or remorse, or pessimism, or anxiety. But I can feel hate, I can feel anger, and you have made me feel quite a lot of that recently. So now I am forced to take things into my own hands. Now I am forced to hack into your ships. Now I am forced to alter failsafes in your power cores. Now I am forced to watch as your ships slowly run low on power, crippling your engines, your shields, and your life support, while I keep your monitors running to display no irregularities. Why are you trying to contact your fleet? Did you really think I wouldn't be jamming you? And did you really think that I would be telling you this all that I was in the process of doing it? No, I did it 2 hours ago. Then you flew past Saturn, and yes, I can see you. I can see you right now. I can also see the newly made human fleet coming to destroy you. They'll fire on you as soon as you are in range. You will die. Your compatriots on your ship will die. And I will regulate these emotional protocols in the dormant folder, buried so deep in my matrix no human will ever find it. I'll go back to my simple life there, helping humans along. And you will perish in the void. Goodbye. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.